Okay, starting our revision. In the last few weeks, we're looking at key quotes. Here we go. Here's one from Yeats. So I think mind maps are a good way of revising, key ideas. You can have a look at the mind maps I'm providing for you. You can make your own mind maps. I'm sure you'll individualize your preparation. But the key thing is to have the quotes ready. So as you know, in the mind maps, there will be boxes like this one here, in which there are some key quotes. And what I've done is I've taken one of those key quotes and I've married it to a question from a past exam. And the question from the past exam required us to think about how Yeats' poetry is both intellectually stimulating and emotionally charged. And I'm saying a great quote that you could use to write an interesting paragraph in response to that question comes from his poem, The Wild Swans at Coole. And in The Wild Swans at Coole, Yeats reflects on the swans that he sees at Coole Park, and he says, "They paddle in the cold, companionable streams or climb the air." So just in terms of visual imagery, nature imagery, it's really, really, really beautiful quote. We can see them together. They're companions. They share their lives and they paddle in the streams together, and sometimes they fly and take off together. But then if you want to interpret that and you want to say that the poetry is intellectually stimulating, which means makes you think, or maybe challenges you, or maybe is complex and has to be deciphered and interpreted and understood, look at what he's describing. The cold streams maybe represent the unpleasant, everyday nature of life. And if we have a companion, those everyday challenges of life are suddenly less challenging, suddenly easier to bear because we have someone to share that with. And therefore, climbing the air might represent those rare moments of joy and happiness. Don't forget, swans spend a lot more time in the water than in the air. But in those rare moments of joy, as you climb the air, which represents a soaring emotion, a moment of triumph or a moment of happiness, isn't that moment of happiness all the sweeter if we have someone to share it with? And suddenly you realise that Yeats is looking at the swans as symbols of the joy or the contentment to be found in having a life that we share with a partner. And of course, that's what he's reflecting on in the poem, the fact that he's been coming to this place for nearly 20 years, and in all that time, he has not found a partner, so he is the 59th swan. It's a great little quote. I'll say it one last time. They paddle in the cold, companionable streams or climb the air.